I used to think auditions were this quick, easy thing. I mean, how long can they take? A long time. Hello, I am Viviana. Welcome to my channel where I share my journey as an actress, the challenges, the lessons, the bookings, and everything in between. So why auditions take such a long time to do? Nowadays, most auditions we do are from home. We record ourselves and we send it to the casting director. So I'm gonna go into every single step that it takes to complete an audition from beginning to end. Number one, first, as soon as we get the script, the request, we have to start working on the memorizing our lines, memorizing our words. And that can take, it depends how lengthy the script is. It can take sometimes shorter time than others, but again, it depends. After you work on that, now you gotta work on the character development, right? Character development is when you make the character come alive, make it look real, because we can't just say a bunch of words. In the recording, it has to look like we're actually talking to somebody. Okay, that can take some time as well. Next, number two, now we gotta set up our lighting, our camera, and our backdrop. For me, I use a ring light. Sometimes I use natural light, but it depends. If I'm already home and I have an audition that is due and it's already dark, then I turn on my ring light. And after I do that, I also place a backdrop. You don't always need a backdrop. Most casting directors, they usually just ask for a blank wall. Blank wall. I used to audition like next to my bed and everything would be visible. Don't do that. They just want to see you. They don't want to see your bed. They don't want to see your room. Anyway, that's just a tip. After that, after you do all that, the third step is choosing your wardrobe. Now you gotta dress as the character. For example, a couple of days I had multiple auditions. Some of them require sporty clothes, some of them require dress-up clothes, some of them require casual clothes. So for every single scene, I have to go and plan out an outfit that would fit the character. That can also take a little bit of time. And that day I actually had 3 auditions, so you can guess how long that took me. About all day. It's without counting meal times and nap times. So now it is finally the time to find yourself a reader. It's the person who will do the scene with you. Now, hopefully, you find somebody that is available within the time frame you are available so that you can submit the audition on time. For this, I personally have a few people in the back of my head that I know will be able to read with me. I have a few friends, ladies, gentlemen, and also people who specifically are fluent in speaking Spanish, because I do a lot of auditions that require me to do them in Spanish. So I usually just call them, either text them or Instagram them, depending who they are. And I ask them for their availability. I wait, then they reply to me, and then we work with each other's schedules, and then boom, finally it's time to record. Now, I usually meet with these people, with these friends that I have virtually. So if they have an iPhone, I usually just use my iPhone to use their voice, and I don't use my iPhone to use their voice. That was my bad. I use my Mac to use their voice. If we both have iPhones, that works. And then I use my phone to record. If they don't have iPhones, we have to do it differently. For the most part, we just do Zoom. And they don't need to be on video. I just need their voice. And then we record a couple of times to make sure the tape is clean. with no mistakes. Now, sometimes you have to do it again because you mess up your lines or you want to do it again. Some casting directors want you to do a few more takes than just one. But again, it depends on the casting director and the project. So hopefully when you're doing your scene, you're already prepared with your lines, character development. Otherwise, this may take a little bit longer. Now is finally time. Oh, wait, not yet. Not yet. Now, when we're done recording, it is time to do a slate. A slate is simply an introduction. The introduction just requires for us to say our name, our height, and our location. And that's a different video. And sometimes for commercials, a lot of times actually, you have to do other takes. Meaning they need your introduction, they need your a full body shot, they need profile shots. They just want profiles for you to show this side of your face and both sides. Sometimes they want close-ups of those, and then they also want full body shots of those. And sometimes they also want 360 turns so they can see exactly what you look like. So after you're done shooting all those separately, now it's finally time to edit. Now, hopefully, if you already know how to edit, this won't take that long. However, when I didn't know how to edit, it took me longer than I thought. So I had to find something to edit. And for me, I use iMovie. That's the simplest thing I can use. There are other things other applications or softwares actors use, but for me, I just use iMovie for now. It's very simple. Now, it's simple now. It used to not be simple. So then, depending on if you know how to edit, it might take you longer. So now that you're done editing, putting together your audition, your introduction, your profiles, your full body shots. Now it's finally time to upload. Now, some casting directors want you to upload directly on this site where you got the audition from. Sometimes they want you to do use Dropbox links or WeTransfer links. It just depends on their preference. So now we are done uploading, and now we submit, and it's finally done. I'm sure by now you can see the reason why doing auditions from home take a long time. Now, of course, there's still auditions that are done in person. It's not as much as before, but there are still some of those going on. And I have to argue personally that those take a little less time, a lot less time. Let's look at the steps that it takes to do an audition in person. Number 1, we memorize our lines. Again, depending on the length of the script, it can take longer time than others. Next, character development. That can take some time. Second step, we drive ourselves to the audition. And again, it depends where you live. If you're close to the audition, not a big deal. If you drive a lot, you're in traffic, we can argue that takes time because nobody likes to be in traffic. Then, once you make it to your audition, the third step is to do your audition. And that is it. Can you see the difference? This one takes 3 steps. The other one had many steps. It had 7 steps. Of course, there are pros and cons to both. The self-tape, you do it at home. You don't have to drive. The in-person audition, you have to drive, sometimes be in traffic, pay meter fees, sometimes. Let's see, another difference is for self-tapes, you can do it as many times as you want. You can record a video as many times as you want until you're satisfied with your audition. When you go in person, you got to do it once. You can sometimes ask the casting director if you can do it again, but for the most part, you do it once and they already kind of know. Another thing, when you go in person, you don't have to edit. You just do it and you leave. When you do it as self-tape, you have to edit. When you go in person, you don't have to find a reader. You don't have to coordinate. You don't have to contact all your friends. You go, there is a reader for you. Also, when you go in person, the setup is done. You don't need your own equipment. They have the equipment. You don't have to do your lighting, your backdrop. You don't need a tripod. You don't need a camera. They have it all. All you do is walk yourself there, prepared, do the scene, and you're done. One of the biggest differences in self-tapes and in-person audition for me is that when you have an in-person audition, you sometimes have to get a day off from your job. Or maybe not a full day off, but you kind of sometimes you have to leave early or come in a little bit later. When you have a self-tape, you have your own time. You can do it on your own time, as long as you get it done by the deadline. So you can see the differences between both. Both of them have pros and cons. Which ones do you prefer? Which auditions do you prefer? At home self-tapes or in person? For me, I am torn between both of them. However, I've already gotten used to do so many self-tapes. Ever since COVID, it's become self-tapes about every single time. If you are in the middle of doing auditions, you can do this. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort. You got this. I'm doing it with you. If you like this content, you're welcome to subscribe if you want to continue to follow my journey as an actress, and I will see you on the next video.